Good evening, one and all. This is Professor Mani welcoming you on behalf of the Bombay Management Association. In the 24th edition of our Friday Fundamentals EMDP, which we launched in the month of May when one realized that lockdown was imminent and the only way to reach across to our members and so many people who wish to learn despite the environment around us was the digital way. I'm delighted to share with you, as I just mentioned, that we are about to launch the Silver Jubilee edition next week, but today is the 24th session. And to celebrate this occasion, we have a wonderful partnership today, a partnership with an organization called Conscious Leap, who is into a lot of soft skills training, life skills training. And the goal that they share is similar to BME, how to make the lives of people better and better and better. Notwithstanding pandemic, notwithstanding the stresses and strains that we go through, but yet if we choose to learn, there is always a way to do things better. Conscious Leap was founded by Sanjay Desai, who's sharing screen here with me. Welcome, Sanjay, and thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to collaborate with BMA and present this webinar to all in the form of an MDP, that is life skills to ride the tide. I'm sure many of you are excited to go into the depth of how to ride the tide. I'm sure the picture appealed to you quite in plenty, and you're all waiting to go to the beach tomorrow and day after to put to practice what Conscious Leap is presenting today with its eminent trainer, Shubhi Mehta, whom I also welcome in our midst in the Bombay Management Association. Over to you, Sanjay, to briefly introduce to us about the wonderful work that you all do and also introduce our faculty, Shubhi, before we launch off the program.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Professor Mani. This is indeed a privilege. As a management graduate myself, okay, and having been in management, I guess, since over 30 years now, both on the corporate side and on the entrepreneur side, you know, this is really an absolute privilege for me to actually be with all of you. So I would like to share something, you know, as a management graduate, and I'm sure all of this actually experiences that what we actually learn in school, okay, and when we go out and, you know, we are supposed to put those principles in practice, and it's a whole different game. And then it's almost like, you know, you have to learn about life in order to actually succeed in management. You know, Professor Mani is from HR and behavioral background, and I believe that almost all managers have to be experts on the behavioral side of people if they really want to do well. And so Conscious Sleep also is a platform that actually arose like that because, you know, during my midlife crisis, I was thinking that, you know, there's so much that I have learned and I had to take half a life or like 25 years to actually learn it. And is there some way where I can put everything together and share with people? And that is really how Conscious Sleep was born. And yes, you know, as Professor Mani said, you know, our vision is, you know, how can we actually make people's lives better? And that's through, you know, more of self-reflection, more of, you know, understanding, you know, how we take decisions. Unfortunately, you know, I believe that there is so much conditioning all around the world, okay, whether it's through childhood or even through colleagues, peers, that we end up taking decisions without really thinking through, without really self-reflection. And Conscious Sleep actually delves a lot into that. I personally believe that, you know, dreams are there to be realized. What it needs is dedication and passion. And Conscious Sleep has a whole framework of about, you know, how do you go about realizing the dreams? How do you go about going and achieving success? So we have several programs, products, you know, around this whole space of how do I get success? And we are very delighted to actually bring to you Ride the Tide, you know, which is all about how do we deal with these uncertainties that all of us suddenly are facing. Now over to Shubhi. Shubhi Mehta Bajpai is a business partner with Conscious Sleep since a few years now. And she has a very interesting background. A lot of you might find her face very familiar. That's because, you know, she's been an actor. She has also been a badminton champion. And basically, she's lived a life of her dreams. I think she's also been in Roadies, right, Shubhi? And so yeah, TV, film personality, and since 10 to last 10 to 12 years, she's actually focused completely on coaching and facilitation. She's very, very well certified, highly certified, and I'm sure all of you are going to have a great time today with her, taking you through Ride the Tide. Over to you, Shubhi.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Sanjay. I think it's a very colorful way of painting my life and presenting it. It certainly seems like a life well lived through your words. And I mean, honestly, I do believe that it is a life well lived, and I've really had a fantastic innings at that. I know that I did not have the money to go to management school when I was starting off. And I decided that I will make my life my management school. So I picked up whatever experience I could, and here I am today. And I'm glad that I'm a part of such a esteemed crowd, which is into management and so heavily changing the face of how we look at people and how we manage people and how we manage ourselves, and are so consciously in tune with what they'd like to do for themselves and how they'd like to invest in their own growth. So when I meet like-minded people, like through you, Sanjay, I've had many such opportunities, and now Professor Mani has also brought us all closer. So this is a great opportunity. Thank you so much for having me here and letting me share a part of our journey in terms of conscious sleep over the last couple of years that we have formulated, and you have been very kind to share with me and teach me yourself, Sanjay. So, a very warm welcome to all of you, and thank you very much for sharing this 1.5 hours with us, Conscious Sleep, and giving us this platform. And also an opportunity sort of to partner with you for your journey. Like Sanjay has said, it's been an endeavor at Conscious Sleep for us to see how we can invest in people, because it matters to us, how we can ignite a spark of consciousness in every individual that we interact with. We've seen this happen for ourselves, and it has been a very fruitful journey for each one of us at Conscious Sleep. And I think when you see somebody, when you see that investment in other people and you see how they kind of flourish and take their potential to another level, it becomes a sort of a spark for yourself. It kind of lights up for you inside as well. So you give the permission to shine, not only for yourself, but for everybody else as well. And from that journey has developed what we are presenting to you today, a little bit of a snapshot of life skills, Ride the Tide. And I do hope that you don't physically go to the beach yet, just hold on to your horses, but ride the tide nonetheless. And the tide and the ocean sits right within you. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to make the most of that ocean, dig deep into it, and go and find the pearls of your own wisdom, because everybody has enough and more, right? So what we'll do here is hopefully get a chance to partner with you and take you through this journey, and get a chance to share, I think, a little bit of a moment in time in this pandemic, which nobody really predicted, nobody could have seen coming. And it has sort of launched us into an uncertain time that is completely unprecedented. And I think the word of 2020 is unprecedented, because everything happening around us is unprecedented. We didn't come into 2020 thinking this is what will happen. It's caught us by surprise. And now we're all doing our level best to become our best versions in this scenario. So without further ado, let me start the workshop again. And I think I'm hoping that all of you will find value by the end of this 1 hour. We should have about 45 odd minutes of the webinar, and we'll spend a lot more time answering your questions. So it'll be nice if you can all keep a notebook handy. I like to have these notebooks handy wherever I am, because there's always an aha moment that kind of surprises you, and then you'll sort of run around looking for one. So make sure that you have a notebook and a pen handy, that you can keep noting down whatever you do find of value to take back with you. And also, if you have any questions, just note it down. In case there is an imminent question, Professor Mani will help me here and support me here a little bit and let me know about those questions midway. Otherwise, if you could hold on to the questions, we'll have a complete session where we'll be able to answer each one of your questions separately as well. If you're good to go, I'll be glad if all of you can just send me an emoticon. There's a reactions frame down below on your right hand side. If you could just give me a thumbs up on your screens, I'll start sharing. Super, that sounds good. I do hope all of you have water, tea, coffee, whatever you need handy, so that it doesn't really take away and distract you in the middle. keep your pets and children a little away for now, and we can start. All right, here we go. And let me know if you can see my slide share. Yes? Oh, perfect. Thank you, Professor Mani. I'll be looking at you for support technically. And if there is anything that is not working really well, just please make sure that you stop me in the middle and we can resolve that and move ahead. Because technology still, however advanced we might be, we are all at the mercy of the Wi-Fi God, and we'll hope that he'll be with us and on side today. All right, welcome once again to Life Skills to Ride the Tide. It's hashtag Make You Happen. This is our flagship program, and we're very, very happy to have all of you here be a part of it and journey with us and letting us journey with you, like I've already said. We're at Conscious Sleep. Sanjay has told you a little bit about ourselves, and we're hoping that today, partnering with you, we will take a certain amount of leap into your consciousness, and that you will individually be able to make that journey for yourself along with us. This is a little bit about me. I know that enough has been said. I'm not going to I am a coach and a trainer and a facilitator. Yes, I did a film called Chak De India, which kind of helped me deep dive into facilitation, into coaching, and led me into greater depths of management and getting me back into school actually. And it happened so seamlessly. I think it was one experience into the other. Currently, I have about a decade over of experience in coaching, and I personally have clients globally. I partner with companies like Conscious Sleep, and they become a huge part of my own journey. And I'm here today to take responsibility for the webinar and hopefully see you at the workshop as well. My main competence is to make learning as effective and as experiential as a process, which is where my research is, which is where my endeavor is, which is what I feel. I think as adults, when we invest in our learning, it's just, if we don't make it interactive, if we don't make it experiential, I think somewhere adults kind of lose the focus. We no longer study like children. And I think that's where my research comes into being, and that's my experience for the last 10 years that I have been putting to practice. And I'm hoping that I can bring that to you at some point as well. So why are you all here today? What brings you here, and why should you spend 1 hour of your time with us? One, of course, is to learn how to move forward despite uncertainties. How then do we deal with uncertainties better, and to learn how to handle paradigm shifting changes around us. Now, these are really vast topics, and this is a webinar where we are going to be spending about 45 minutes odd talking about or the nature of uncertainty do we bring with us to the table? What uncertainty brings to our world? How then are these uncertainties playing around with us? How are we then not unconsciously, subconsciously, sometimes consciously taking care of these? So in the webinar, this is how we'll go about listening and understanding about how then do we as people deal with uncertainties. Is there a different way of dealing with uncertainties? Can we be different? Can we bring something else to ourselves? Can we extend our potential into looking at things differently? Can we change the paradigm for ourselves? These are some of the topics that we will be covering today in the webinar. To begin, is uncertainty always a given? And I think I speak for everybody when the answer probably is going to be a yes. The uncertainty in our lives is a given. The planets around us are constantly changing. The solar system is moving. The earth that we're on is constantly revolving. The moon is revolving around us. I mean, we're talking about ride the tide. The tide happens because of so many forces, and it's a constantly changing force of nature. Everything around us is uncertain. The universe itself is uncertain. We have found ways of making it predictable. We have found ways of reading it, studying it, and making sure that we stay a step ahead, but it is still uncertain. It is still out of our hand. It is still very unpredictable. It is still very, very ambiguous. What then is the change that brings, the uncertainty brings with it? The change is the only constant in ever-changing world. And I know all of you have heard about this. I think it's a sticker, right? Everybody reads about it. It's an image that comes in. If you go to the top 10 quotations, I think one of the quotations will definitely be about change. And we read about it, we know about it, we accept it, we tell people about it. But this is true. The only truth to accept in life is that the change is the only constant in our ever-changing world. And that's the uncertainty that we are living with on an every moment to moment basis. I will go a step further. It is not a day to day basis, every moment to moment. Your life can change in a split second, and we are aware of that. The only thing we do is that we leave it away from our consciousness. What we do is we remove it from our consciousness and we let it take a backseat and go about life as if every day becomes the same. But every single day, every single moment, life is changing, and that's the only constant. Some of these changes, of course, are expected. For example, we expect a change in our life when we graduate, when we get a new job, when we take up a job in a new place, when we get a promotion, when we get married, when we're getting old or wiser or older. All of these changes are expected. All of these changes are things that we know how to deal with, because these are changes that we are foreseeing, changes that we want for ourselves to happen, changes that we are excited to sort of go through, changes that we want, changes that we desire, right? Everybody wants to look at how their marriage is going to be like, how the wedding day is going to be like, what will I do during graduation, when I grow up, this will happen. All of these are expected changes. All of these are wanted, expected changes. Some of the changes, of course, are unexpected and they become huge amount of challenges for us. It could be an accident, it could be fire, a death of a loss of a loved one, things that we don't really hope would happen in a day, things that we are scared, are fearful of even having a conversation about to each other, things that we kind of keep bottled up so that it never comes true. These things also happen and they sometimes become unexpected challenges. They are also changes that we run with. They are changes that kind of, I can give you a very live example. My husband was supposed to, he's gone out of town for a little bit and was supposed to return today, and ended up getting into an accident for no fault of his. And yet here we are today. He's not going to be able to make it home. And I know that this is an unexpected challenge for us. All of these kind of bring in an ambiguity and an uncertainty. So this is a part and parcel of our life. This is something that we live with. This is something that is very common. Everyone goes through it, and yet it is there. This is the amount of uncertainty that we take and wake up with every single day of our lives. So when change and uncertainty is such a constant, are we then prepared for it? Have we then done enough in our lives to be able to run with change and uncertainty when we see it? Since it is such a constant and we talk about it from moment to moment, things are changing. And I know that consciously we're not thinking about it all the time. You're not thinking about the fact that this earth is not stopping. It is revolving every second, which is how it completes the whole day. And yet we're not thinking about it. We're not thinking about the change it's bringing every second for it in its movement, and it's there. So how are then we preparing for it? What are we then bringing to the table that prepares us for this change and uncertainty in our life? Similarly, have we received any formal education to tackle such uncertainties? And don't get me wrong, I'm not challenging the education system. I am asking if there is a formal education system in place anywhere globally that can prepare us for uncertainties. I'm aware of the conversations that WHO had, and these are articles were written about how they were talking about a pandemic in the offing because global movement had increased. SARS had just touched us and gone. Ebola was in the offing and thankfully never moved away from Africa. While all of this was happening, they were looking at the pandemic in the corner, and yet they did not prepare us. So what is the formal education then? How does it help? Does it help? Is it in place? Has it been put into action? These are questions that kind of loom in terms of ambiguity with us. Nobody in general is talking about a formal education to prepare us for such uncertainties. We prepare for an uneventuality, but we don't prepare for ourselves in terms of formally educating us with vis-a-vis our uncertainties and how they play with us. What we do, but, is we learn to cope with the uncertainties, which is what life teaches us since we were kids. Dealing with smaller uncertainties to begin with. For example, we wanted to celebrate our birthday and something happened, father couldn't show up on time, or mother had to work late. And these are uncertainties that kind of play into a child's psyche as well, but they learn how to cope with it. Coping with it. It's a coping mechanism that is taught to us by life itself, and it's sort of hard beaten into us. We take it as an experience. We somehow learn how to deal and accept and move on and adjust ourselves, and that's what we do. So coping in general is the response to meet an immediate challenge. Correct. So coping then is a response to meet an immediate challenge. Let me give you an example that you can see on the screen. For you started from home and you had to go to work. An eventuality or an uncertainty could be weather. For example, it could have just flooded right outside the street of your office. And now you're left with coping with that immediate challenge. How do you then traverse that road and get to office? You get wet. Are you ready to, do you have an umbrella? Do you have a raincoat? Do you have a rain suit? Is your car going to make it over there? Is your car powered and batteried enough? Is it low? Is it high? All of these things will play in your mind and you'll learn how to cope with it. You park ahead, you walk half the road. There's so many things. All of this that you do to, as a response to meet that immediate challenge is what we call as coping. And this is nothing new. We are all aware of it. We all do it on a regular basis. We learn. We are taught how to do this, whether it's a breakdown of a car, whether it's being demoted or being fired or being laid off because all of a sudden there's new management in the offing and they don't want us anymore. So you go into work thinking that it's a new day at work and we will do this and we will do that. And by the end of the evening, things have already changed for you. And how do you then learn, and what do you do in that as an immediate response to that challenge is called coping. Like I said, we keep doing it every day at our home, at our workspace, and we're fairly adept. As human beings, we're quite resilient for that matter, right? We learn how to harden ourselves and how to then quickly cope with it and quickly respond to that day-to-day challenge. And we get better and better at it. As children, we may have faltered and taken help of our adults, of our parents, of our siblings. And now we make our own decisions around it. We cope up with it the way we think is right, and we move on and ahead with it. Similarly, there are changes that are happening at a much larger area around us. Things that are completely new, technology-wise. I think the kind of change that the human era has seen over the last 4 to 5 years in terms of technology support and the kind of things that have moved ahead, I think have been mind-blowing. We have never seen such a high scope of technology support to a human population before. Things have become so easy where, they have been, whether it's Paytm, changed the way we do business, absolutely. We're sitting at home and paying our electricity bills, our gas bills at the press of a button. It was completely unheard of even about 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we would have stand in line and pay our electricity bills. It's completely changed the way we look at things. Brought in a way to cope up with this. We've had to cope with it. We've had to look at how Paytm can now change our lives. Swiggy delivers food, delivers groceries, delivers essentials. They have completely changed how we look at things and how adept we have become in now coping up with the new age, the new technology, and how do we then bring it in? How do we then change the uncertainty in our favor? But when impactful changes or uncertainties shift the paradigm, then how do we typically cope? Now, these are smaller examples for whether it's a demotion, maybe a promotion, maybe a change in job, maybe a change in the way families are looked at, or addresses, rental spaces, a lot of this. But what happens when there is an impactful change in your life and then the shift has happened and the uncertainty has shifted your paradigm? How do we then typically cope? What kind of difficulties does that bring in, right? Let's see how, let me go back. How does Aditya typically cope up with uncertainties? Say, for example, the recession has hit. He starts cutting costs. There are health issues that affect him. Starts following latest fad diets, temporary, no alcohol, no smoking. Has a breakup, starts working out, solo tripping, back on Tinder, guzzles, All of this is something that Aditya typically copes with uncertainties, right? Is this the best way to handle these situations? These are responses that each and every single one of us has gone through. We have done it. We have responded to situations by coping to these situations in similar formats at some level or the other. When we have gone through recession back in 2008, I'm not sure how many of you had to, but you knew that we had to start cutting costs. We were on a save mode. When health issues start to affect us after a certain age, even actually much younger now, we know that all of us have fallen into a fad diet, whether it's a GM diet, whether it's a no carbohydrate diet. Now it's a keto is the new fad. And a lot of these come with vegan is the new thing as well. A lot of them come with heavy research to kind of support and justify these, but they are at the end of it, the latest diet fads will also happen. There's a temporary no alcohol will happen. We'll go on a sabbatical. We will not drink alcohol for 3 odd months. We'll stop smoking. We'll turn around and become the best. We try and force ourselves into situations that we think are the best at that time. And that's how you cope with the uncertainty of your health issues, of the recession. Similarly for breakups, when they happen, we understand how we literally put a band-aid over our heart and start to sing old songs, start looking at people, go to travel, spend money, shopping for a lot of people who go through breakup, work out excessively and start to look really smart. Maybe even excessive drinking for that matter during breakup. So all of these are coping mechanisms. But like at the end, is this the best way then to handle these situations? Sorry. So coping takes you only this far. It's an immediate reaction and response. It is thinking on your feet and being street smart and managing the moment. It's a short-term win, like a palliative care. Let me give you an example. Say, for example, you have a heart attack, and what they will do at that time is give your heart a shock, and it will send the message for your heart to start pumping in the blood. And immediate effect would be that it would come back into action, and that's palliative. It's a treatment that is required then and there as a short-term win. We need to get you back breathing, and then we can look at what the long-term health is. So coping is like that. Coping is like giving yourself an electric shock so that you can start to work back again and then sort of look at things differently. But most of the people look at coping and that electric shock as the only thing possible, as their go-to means of device of handling an uncertainty. So whenever you do look at a reaction or an immediate response that is happening, always think of this. I completely keep it in the back of my mind that what I'm doing right now is giving myself an electric shock so that I can come back alive. And then I will think about what I want to do next. But currently it is just that. It is just an electric shock that will bring me back to life. It works in a day-to-day situation for tactical wins. Like I said, it's like a band-aid that will hold a splinter in place till the time you get into a hospital and go in for an operation and sort yourself out. But till then, it is just that. It's a jugaad. That's what coping actually is. Some people clearly handle such shifts better. And it will be great for us to look at some of these heroes who've handled such shifts far better than the general population or the general know-how. And which is the reason why we call them heroes, which is why we look up to them, which is why we're in awe of them. Sachin Tendulkar being one of them, we are, as a nation, I think we are in awe of him as the god of cricket. He is the pride of our nation. But look at what he has had to go through. Look at the kind of changes that he has not just gone through, but also induced for himself. He's had 21 surgeries throughout his career. He has constantly been reinventing himself. He has changed his technique. He has improved his style. He retired from his ODI career so that he could focus on his test career. He kept changing his game to suit his circumstances. He's given up captaincy. And I know how shocking it might be for all those who love cricket and all those who aspire to be the captain of the Indian cricket team to even look at it and say, what a brave move. And what do you think brings that into focus? It brings in your attitude towards your responses, towards your consciousness. It brings in the kind of strength you require to know yourself and to know your path of success. Another example that we love sharing with people is Oprah. Despite her poverty, and she's had a massive run as a teenager into bad luck with challenges galore. She has been abused as a child. She also got pregnant, in fact, when she was 14. She's had to go through all those adversities, which are not easy for a child, and especially a girl child of color at that time to take. We're not talking about now, we're really talking about 20 years ago. 20 years ago, and as a child, maybe even 30 years ago, that she's had to overcome. And to do that and to land a job with a CBS while doing college. And I remember, I think one of her teachers kind of pushed her into taking a job with that from college, saying that this is the kind of job that children join college for. So if you're giving it, don't give it up. And it did change her life. To look at it from a perspective of saying, where did you start from? What are the challenges that you have come through? And then in the 90s, ruled the television as a queen and continues to do so. She was one of the top most influential women of all times. And especially that being of color, she really did write history with being one of those anchors who was looked at in great respect and admiration globally. People wanted to be her, people wanted to be with her. And I think it is one of the best things that you can do for yourself, to be a person of inspiration for everybody around you and coming through and proving yourself with such strength. She changed her topics that she used to discuss, and she responded to the change that the audience was looking at, which is where her wins came from. The fact that you are in tune with what is happening right now, the fact that you know how to listen to the changes that are happening around you, to observe what people are looking at, what I need to do then to be able to take this from the lowest ranking show to the highest ranking show. The things that the kind of consciousness that you need to kind of develop for yourself, and the kind of strength that you develop from inside out to be a hero, right? Similarly, Swiggy. I think one of the best things that Swiggy as an example put forth for us was during the lockdown, how they have moved from just being a food delivery app to being a grocery delivery app, a need of the hour, and to be able to respond to that is not just a coping mechanism. It is a listening to the change again. It's listening and being very observant to how their dynamic around them has changed. How have they then in tuned for themselves? How have then made the moment in the platform open for themselves to say, all right, hold on, this is what we do. This is the business that we're in. This is the call of today. Restaurants are shutting down. They're looking at businesses. We may have to shut down as well. How then do we respond to this change? How then do we bring ourselves and bring our best foot forward to keep ourselves afloat, keep ourselves ahead of the game? And they did that wonderfully. They deliver anything. They already had a delivery system. They not only brought back people, they brought it with safety, with all the care taken. They delivered fruits and vegetables to people. They partnered with so many other delivery vendors. I think it was a great platform and a great network that they created in the meanwhile and responding to the lockdown and responding again to a very unprecedented change of events that all of us have gone through. What they did then essentially was that they aligned to the circumstances that they faced every milestone of the way. Let me say this again. What they did differently from what we were discussing earlier is that they aligned to the circumstances that they faced every milestone of their way. And this is important for us to realize that this is the difference. What they're doing is that the circumstances that change and the milestones that they need to cover, they are constantly changing and aligning themselves along the way. So what then is alignment? Alignment is nothing but to put oneself in the correct relative position in relation to the dynamics of the universe to be able to manifest. To put oneself in the correct relative position in relation to the dynamics of the universe to be able to manifest. This is understanding of alignment from a perspective of saying, I'm not sure how many of you do outdoors or have been trekking or have been going hiking. It's important for every hiker and every trekker to realize where the North Star sits. This is the only way that you can find your way out if you understand how to read the North Star. And when it's cloudy, it is very, very difficult for a trekker and a hiker to find his way out of the woods. So if you are lost in the forest, everybody looks up and finds where the North Star is, then it points you towards the direction saying, okay, so that's the North Star, that's the North, and this is where I need to go. So my map says go south, and this is where I need to head. So turn around and find your way out of the forest, which is what means to correct your relative position in relation to the dynamics. Every single time the universe changes around you, every single time it throws a dynamic at you, the universe is, like we've discussed, is constantly changing. And it will keep changing. The dynamics, the variables are different for each and every single one of us, and they change separately for every single one of us. Then the only relative term that we can change is ourselves. The only position that we can then correct is ourselves. So when you correct your relative position in relation to the changes that have happened around you for you, that's called alignment, right? So what we have to do then is to shift our position to align with the changing world. We have to change. The change is happening outside of our control. The only thing that is in our control then to change is us. So we have to change, we have to shift our position, we have to change and align with the changing world. So heroes then, what they do differently is focus on themselves to align to the changes. What they do then is not just cope. They align. They align to the changes by observing how the changes are happening around. What is the dynamic of my universe? If you are into astrology, I'll explain it from that perspective as well, that every child is born with a unique set of stars and planets in motion for him. And you are that child who's born with a unique set of planets and stars in motion. If they're unique to you, the variables that you will play out throughout your life will be unique to you. In that manner, you are unique. And that means that the world is changing in a unique format for you. And hence, as if you would like to be the leading person of your life or the hero of your life, you will have to align to your personal changes, and you will have to make the effort to change your relative position to the changes that are happening in your universe. So our focus normally stays around the change that is happening around us. Oh, COVID has happened. Oh, this thing went wrong. Oh, there was traffic. Oh, there was weather. Oh, my boss. Oh, my teacher. All of these are things that are happening outside our control. They are the changes that are happening around us at all points. The focus for us normally stays on that instead of staying on ourselves like the heroes. Like the heroes focus inwards, we normally keep the focus outside. So what then is our insight from Consciously? Our insight is that we have to be the pivot of change to the bigger changes of the outside world. Let me read that again. We have to be the pivot of change to handle bigger changes in the outside world. Just coping will not take us across. Coping will only be a short-term band-aid on your heart. You will only be able to get an electric shock for yourself to bring yourself back to life with coping. But to go the extra mile, you will have to finally go into surgery. And that means that you will have to be the pivot of change. You will have to make major changes to then handle the bigger changes in the outside world, right? This is how heroes then align. They walk a personalized path to their success. This is probably one of the most important things that we can ever leave you with. Please realize that your variables, your stars are unique to you. And hence, to understand your path to your success is very important. Hence, to create your own personalized path for yourself is very important. To even realize that there is no second person who will be able to share the same path to their success. There will be difference. Each person's variables are unique to that person. They will never be two people. Even twins will not come with 100% same variables. They will probably come with 60% same variables, but they will still be different. And each and every single person will carry their variables and will have to personalize their path to their own success, which is what heroes understand, which is how heroes align. Because one, they realize that their variables will take them and they need to personalize their path to their success. They have to align to the world as the circumstances change. They have to overcome challenges. They're not scared of overcoming challenges. In fact, they welcome and they get stronger with each challenge. Somehow those challenges fuel them into aligning further. oh, this challenge, what did I learn? Oh, how did I now cope with this? Oh, wow, okay, bring it on. Let me try and see if I can build another strength, another skill. How do I bring in another new extension to myself? The challenges don't put in a fear of change into heroes. Challenges need to be overcome, and heroes aligned to overcome challenges. Then they also have clarity and conviction about their goals. To be able to make sure that you can design your personalized path to your success, the important part is to have clarity and conviction कि जाना कहाँ है boss, करना क्या है, goal क्या है, चाहते क्या हो. And don't think about it that every single person who you meet has a clarity of a long-term goal. Goals can be various different sizes, and success could be 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 5 years. It could be different for everybody. So without looking outward into what the other person's goals look like, look for the clarity and conviction into your goal. Write that goal. Achieve that. What is it that makes you happy? What is it that makes you joyful? What is it that you want? What is that goal that is worth spending this life for? So a little bit about coping versus aligning. Coping is an immediate reaction and a response, whereas aligning then becomes assessing a deeper sense, a deeper pattern. What is causing the change? What will its implications be for me? Similarly, it's thinking on your feet, street smart, managing the moment, short-term win like palliative that we've gone through. So aligning then becomes focusing on changing behavior, technique, format, even changing oneself to shift one's position for appropriate response to the change, without bringing in that deep sense of change of your relative position to the dynamics that have changed around you. Alignment is not going to happen. We will end up constantly trying to cope with the change. आज traffic हो गया, आज ये करना है, अरे आज ये नहीं सोचा, अरे आज वो नहीं किया, अरे आज ये नहीं, अच्छा चलो ये कर लेते हैं, अच्छा थोड़ा ये थोड़ा वो. All of this is a very reactionary, immediate response to what is happening, and that becomes moment to moment. Whereas alignment becomes a desire to become better in doing everything, in becoming more conscious and bringing a lot more to the table than was earlier a part of a parcel of your life. So alignment then becomes focusing deeper into your consciousness, going deeper into your conditioning and finding the root cause and changing that, and being able to ignite yourself differently, like how I started the conversation with. It is required when you play for the longer term, and life is short, which is where we cope, but life is also very long. It's a long-term marathon. It's a game. Nobody really comes here to sprint and be out of the game. Everybody wants to play for longer. And I feel the longer the innings you play, the better it is. And the longer scope you have in terms of your growth, the better it is. So plan for growth, plan for that longer term. Plan like you're playing a worthy opponent. And that opponent needs a sort of a worthy you. It needs a response from you, which is far more deep-rooted. And your competition increases. There is what we're talking about here is not जुगाड़ कि आज अगर मुझे हंस के किसी से बात करनी है तो आज मैंने देखो से हा हंस के बात कर ली and that's about it. This we're talking about conscious habits formation. How can you then, in spite of the changes around you, stay joyful, stay unaffected and yet engaged? I'm not asking you to be apathetic to the changes around you. I'm asking you to be responsive. I'm asking you to bring yourself and engage, and yet not be affected by the momentary lapses that are happening around you. Yeah, that's the difference between coping versus alignment. So if, again, we're taking the example of Aditya, who you've seen how has coped with uncertainties, and now how would you think he aligns with uncertainties? So whereas coping, he was starting to cut costs with recession. When recession hits, while I think we will cope, because that will be a necessary immediate response of saying, all right, hang on, it's a recession, I have to cut costs, yet I know that I will have to continuously upskill. And I know of a lot of people who've done that during this pandemic, have responded by aligning and seeing, all right, my business is no longer going to happen for the next 4 years. People in travel and tourism, people in hospitality have really had to start to rethink their lives very, very quickly. And what do you do then? You upskill. There are so many people who I've seen have constantly upskilled themselves and become home bakers, chefs, have started new businesses, have responded even as sanitizer makers. It's unbelievable the kind of stories you'll hear about people. And this is only a result of understanding how then you can align and how can you then spend your time in grooming and growing yourself. How do you then learn and extend yourself better? Similarly, if you have health issues, how do you then over a long time maintain a healthy lifestyle? How then do you make this as a part and parcel of a conversation? How do I want to live? How do I want to be? How do I want to spend every single day of my life? Do I want to spend my day from moment to moment and saying, all right, today is my cheat day, oh, tomorrow was my burger day, tomorrow is this? What then is important for me? How do I want to live? How do I want to feel on an everyday basis? Those are the questions that will come with health issues. I want to feel light. I want to feel happy. I want to feel fit. I want to feel healthy. And when those questions start to pop up, they will become your questions to align with your uncertainties. Similarly, with breakup, you rest and rejuvenate, you introspect, you talk, you take therapy, you have conversations, you meditate, you go deeper into understanding the things that could have been different for you. Is this important? How is that happening? You heal. And that healing in the space to heal that is required for you becomes an alignment with uncertainties. So tips to cope better are definitely, so don't worry about what's not in your control. Example, sometimes you just have to let go of things which are not in your hand and focus on things that can make you better. Keep the end goal in mind. Example, aim to work towards your goal, work on yourself. At the end of the day, everything else around you is temporary, and maintain healthy habits, keeping the negativity away. Now, I know that most of us have heard this on a daily basis, and we keep talking about it, and yet it's simple, but it's not easy. It's a lifetime of practice, and you have a lifetime. It's not over till it's over. So if it's not over till it's over, then the lifetime cannot be better spent than to be spent working on yourself. If you have one life, you have one body, you have one mind, you have one heart, there should be nothing that comes in between you and how to live this life the best to you, your variables, your dynamics, and the best of your potential. And that should be the endeavor of being able to do all of this better. So this is pretty much our summary. The uncertainty is a part of our daily lives. We tend to cope with uncertainties and changes. Coping is then a short-term quick fix, and we need to align to survive paradigm shifting uncertainties. To align, we need to be the pivot to handle our uncertainties. So the current times are defining a new normal. Will you cope or will you align? So then how do I learn to align to the world? What we've spent doing in the last 45 odd minutes is to understand the difference between what we normally do on a regular basis and the requirement that we have in terms of moving ahead. These are the times that are defining a new normal. Nobody, and I mean it, no single person is going to come out on the other side feeling like things have gone back to normal. This is the new normal. Things will be different. Things will change. We will survive this, and we will survive this coming out a completely different human race. So what will you do? Will you cope or will you align? Will you go moment to moment thinking कि ये जुगाड़ है, अच्छा ऐसे नहीं कल हो जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं, in denial maybe of how things are ready to change? Or then will you be ready to pick up the ropes and align to what your universe is demanding of you? Your planetary positions are demanding of you. Are you willing to then sit back, observe consciously as to the changes that are happening around you to bring that into fruition, bring yourself into fruition, right? How do I then learn to align to the world? Well, the Make You Happen Align workshop is here, and we're very committed to making the workshop talk about how you can align. What are the practices that help people align? What are the practices that you do that you engage with yourself differently? How do you then bring about your consciousness? How do you bring about a change in your conduct? How then do you talk about your conditioning, and how do you deep root that conditioning? How do you then go deeper into understanding yourself and becoming what is required of you vis-a-vis your changes? That's the Make You Happen Align workshop. The benefits of the workshop are to transform from coping to aligning. So to understand, this is where we're doing the jugaad, and this is where we move from here and start to align. How do we then look at ourselves, and regardless of the shifts that are happening around us, how do we then change our own paradigm? How do we bring the spotlight to ourselves? Instead of putting the spotlight everywhere else, if you've seen a torch and you put a torch to see क्या हो रहा है, बाहर क्या हो रहा है, अंधेरे में जब देखते हैं तो आप सारा spotlight उधर देखते हैं, क्योंकि अंधेरा बाहर है तो आप spotlight देख के उसे दूर कर लेते हैं. How then do you shift that spotlight and bring it indoors, inside you? How then do you transfer yourself from coping to aligning and learn these techniques to align better? So you learn about the blockages that prevent us from alignment. There are so many that we create ourselves, and it's a part of our conditioning. It's a part of our situation. It's a part of how we've grown up, what we've read, the kind of things. A lot of it completely not in our control, but a lot of it is something that we're also letting ourselves go through. How do we develop these alignment skills? What do we do then to, like I said, consciously practice this on a daily basis so that we can develop these alignment skills and we can become better? It's a part of the upskilling that we were talking about. And how do we then become the pivot of handling changes? How do we, like I said, if you put the spotlight on you, then you have become the pivot of handling changes. So then you become more responsible, you become accountable. It is you, it is about you, and the focus remains you. This is the workshop toolkit. We have a lot of role plays. We have Jasmine, who's a beautiful character who joins us on our journey and gives us a lot of food for thought and introduces us, her problems and her issues so that we can collectively as a group solve these and come up with hopefully things that matter to us as well. It's a very self-reflective design. We share this workbook with you online, and you will really have a very interesting, engaging time reflecting in these workbooks and doing the activities along with us. We also have online tools that we share and that we work on during the workshop, so we make it as interactive and as engaging as we can. What we do like on with Conscious Sleep is that we want sustained engagement. This is not a one-time engagement with you. You partner with us and we partner with you, and we hope to partner with you on your journey to your personalized path of success. We'd like you to join us on Conscious Beat, which is at www.theconsciousleep.com, where a lot of our heroes have shared their stories and shared with us what matters to them and how they have developed themselves. We talk about Jasmine Bills and Shifting Sands, the novel which has been written by Sanjay Desai, which is also the forming basis of our program, #Make You Happen. Please do connect on social media, where a lot of us are asking relevant questions and interacting with each other to try and find out our own path to success. We also do have one-on-one coaching where, like I said, if you want an individual engagement with us, where you'd like one person to be in your corner and take your journey forward and see how we can support you there, I think that's something that we offer as well. We have a 300,000 plus strong community on Facebook, and we're very proud of that. That a lot of people are looking at us and partnering with us and sharing their journeys with us constantly. It's a 2-hour workshop, and more details will be on the BMA website, and I'm sure Professor Mani will be putting them out quite soon. This is happening on the Saturday, the 23rd of October, and the time is between 5 to 7 p.m. And I'm hoping that I'll see most of you there. Do stay connected. We're at Conscious Sleep on Facebook and at Conscious Sleep on Instagram. And you can always connect with us at our website, www.theconsciousleep.com. This is a little bit about from people who have attended this workshop when times were different and we could go live. Just let me see if that please. Sorry.
If someone asks you where do you see yourself in 10 years, and I'd be like, I don't know. Like, where you see yourself tomorrow, I don't know that. So this helps you like giving little perspective to your life.
I too had many dreams, and Make You Happen workshop helped me not only prioritizing the dream but also in channelizing my energy towards that one dream.
It was quite an eye-opener actually. It all took me like to the next step, helped me figure out how, what are the tools I need, and like how it's actually something I can achieve. So it gave me more clarity actually. So I know now that I've been doing this now. This is the step I need to move to. So it was actually very helpful.
See, I've been to various workshops and seminars. Most of the times what happens is I don't get a tangible benefit out of it. Here, I actually know what I'm taking back.
We have something tangible with us. We have that workbook in which we have worked.
It's an experiential workshop, yeah.
It was really engaging and informative. And it was fun. And the workbook I'm sort of keep it for a very long time.
The way that they developed this entire workshop around how you can build yourself up to be a manifesting warrior and get up every day and think about the end goal of your life or of any activity for that matter was very beneficial.
You're listening to us, and if you're someone who basically believes that you hate preachy workshops, you should definitely come for this one because there is no preaching at all.
It is a little bit about how people, like I said, this is when we could touch each other and we could arm wrestle and we could do all of that. Like I said, now we're into a new normal and we've still made it engaging. We've had to put in a lot of effort into making this as interactive as it is when it goes live. And that's the workshop. It is not preachy, it is interactive, and it talks about how then do you align, how then do you shift your own paradigm and focus on yourself. I'm open to taking question and answers, and I know Sanjay is also here in case there are other questions that, Sanjay, I know that you're here to support Professor Mani. I'll leave this also. I mean, I'm ready to take, I'm going to stop sharing so that I can see all of you and I can take your question answers if there's.
Wonderful. Thank you, Shubhi. That was indeed very, very inspirational, full of energy, enthusiasm, zeal. And I'm sure you transmitted so much of it across to every one of the 80 odd participants who were there with us from the beginning. It was indeed wonderful listening to you to revisit this entire journey of how one can cope up with all that is happening around us and yet ensure that it doesn't impact us negatively. How can we still go ahead one step in the positive direction? I'm glad to share that there are many questions which are already here, and I'm going to put these questions across to you and you can please respond to them.
Of course, pleasure's all mine.
One of the first questions that is coming up is, can you give us one example of coping versus aligning in a real life situation? Because we do realize that they are pretty similar, but yet one example.
Sure. My mind starts to race with so many examples. I'm just trying to see which one can I make more relevant. Let me see if I can give you a sports analogy. And because I think everybody loves a sports metaphor. So let me go back to my film. I'm hoping that a lot of you have already seen Chak De India. And if you haven't, then I'll get very upset. It's been 14 years and you should all go and watch Chak De India. But I'm going to take an example from that. Coping would be, for those of you who remember the movie, when our new coach comes into play, coping was when all of us did our various bits to trouble him, didn't show up for practice, hoping that things don't change, hoping that we can dig in our heels and stay the way we are, that somehow the change that is happening around us will pass over, it'll blow over. कि मतलब बड़े कोच आते हैं, ये एक और आया है, ये भी चला जाएगा, क्योंकि हम नहीं बदलने वाले हैं. तो हम क्या करेंगे, हम कोप करेंगे बैठ के, हम क्या करेंगे, हम तंग करेंगे उसे, हम काम नहीं करेंगे, हम टाइम पे रिहर्सल पे नहीं जाएंगे, रिहर्सल पे जाएंगे तो एक दूसरे से लड़ाई करेंगे, उसको हॉकी मारेंगे, उसको बॉल नहीं देंगे, उसे सेंटर नहीं खेलने देंगे. We'll do all of that. Now all of this is a coping mechanism because the change outside is uncomfortable for us to bear. The alignment will only happen when we start to realize that the change is here to stay. What do you do then? You have no option but to respond to be a better version of yourself as a player. कि बेटा कुछ अच्छा हो रहा है, you have a chance now to win the World Cup. वो बात कर रहा है World Cup की. Do you want to be a part of the problem or do you want to be a part of the solution? And if you want to be a part of the solution, then it can't be a band-aid fix. It can't be कि अरे एक मैच खेल के नहीं जीत लोगे वर्ल्ड कप, खुद को बदलना पड़ेगा उसके लिए. You will have to become a better player. You will have to put in the effort. जान मारनी पड़ेगी उसके लिए. रोज सुबह 4 बजे उठ के 10 किलोमीटर भागना पड़ेगा. आपको बेहतर बनना पड़ेगा. तभी आप जाके कहीं एक वर्ल्ड क्लास के प्लेयर बनते हो. आपको वो पसंद नहीं है क्योंकि आज तक किसी ने आप में वो चीज देखी नहीं है, तो वो गलत है. But you can only then cope up because you are scared of the changes that are happening around you. And these happen with us every day. There will be some new manager that will come. अब आपका जो comfort level है आपके boss के साथ बन चुका है क्योंकि you know you got that little going on. And you think कि जिंदगी ऐसे निकल जाएगी. Now there's one manager suddenly who will come over to you and say, you know, I expect a little more than you, man. I mean, I think I see a lot of potential in you. You'll be like, क्या बकवास करता है, ऐसे ही बोल रहा है, झूठ बोलता है. He doesn't know me. I don't want to do this. Now again, the coping mechanism there would be you will cut corners. You will do only as much as required. But if you do change your paradigm, if you shift the way you look at that change that is happening around you, then you will be able to align. Then you'll be able to see what is required of me. Why is that person doing this? Or why is this happening to me? Everything is happening for a reason. It's giving you an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. What you do is कि हम शत्रु में बन जाते हैं. हम अंदर like we'll hide ourselves so that the change can just sort of pass over. It never changes. You come out and the change is far more prominent. Like I know of a lot of people who have said कि जब ये pandemic खत्म हो जाएगा ना, फिर बात करेंगे. अब आप 2 साल लगेंगे, 4 साल लगेंगे, 5 साल लगेंगे. Every single other human being who will respond to the pandemic differently will be a different human being. After 5 years of you hiding inside and not responding to what is happening to the new normal, you will remain same and out of the picture. You are coping right now. You're not aligning. You're not doing anything to align to the new normal. You're not aligning. You're not seeing how the world has completely changed. There will be no same going back to the same thing. Travel will change. Hospitality will change. Food business will change. Stock market will change. Oil will change. Everything is already changing. It's happening as we talk. Look at us. Look at us, all of us here on Zoom trying to cope up with this, right? Trying to align now and upskill ourselves. The first is respond. क्या करना है इसके बारे में? नहीं, हमसे नहीं होता Zoom. हमें नहीं आता समझ में. That's coping. कि कोई बता दो, कोई हाथ पकड़ के कर लो. That's coping. Now aligning is to understand, all right, now I have to be on Zoom. I see my parents, and my parents are plus 70. And I see how they've coped up, and how they have also learned how to align. So they started with this. We can't do it. They refused to stay at home because for them, the pandemic was just a 10-day odd business that, 21 दिन सब अंदर रहेंगे, फिर सब ठीक हो जाएगा. That was them coping. That बस सब्जी लेने जा रहे हैं, बस दूध लेने जा रहे हैं. अरे हम आज ऐसा थोड़ी होता है, हम इतने सारे लोगों को जानते हैं, नहीं मिलेंगे तो कैसे चलेगा, वो क्या समझेगा, वो क्या होगा. And then finally, they had to get onto the program. They had to learn how to align. Today, my father is running 3 factories sitting at home from a place which is remote. We are half an hour into the forest. We have 40 minutes away from the nearest hospital. And yet we are coping. We're not just coping, we're aligning. We're constantly on a daily basis aligning with what is happening in the world outside. He's running 3 factories at 71 years of age. That's my first and foremost example of alignment.
Wonderful. I think we can still see the passion that Gunjan Lakhani used to show when we remember Chak De India.
Yeah, it's totally.
I was waiting to bring that up somewhere because some of these roles are immemorable and always stay in the minds of people.
They are. Yeah, they change your life also. I think it's amazing how I think they become a part and parcel of you, and you become that person, or that person is you finally.
Okay, now the interesting question is, we often talk about coping with failure. Can you share some tips on coping with success?
Oh, actually, I can't. I can't because, like I said, everybody has a very personalized path to success. I can share a very personal story, and I'm not sure if that will help or not help. I think it's very easy to cope with failure. You somewhere at the back of your head, everybody is sort of always ready. Ki plan B to hoga. ये नहीं चलेगा तो वो कर लेंगे, ऐसा नहीं होगा तो वैसा करेंगे, अरे ये तो होना ही नहीं था. So somewhere I think every human beings are designed to first think about कि ये हो सकता है, ये फेलियर हो सकता है, पर करके देख लेते हैं. अच्छा चलो रिस्क है पर कैलकुलेटेड है, ये है वो है. So we are constantly getting ourselves ready for failure. When success happens, everybody has a very different way of dealing with it. Every single person realizes their success and their effort differently. I'll give you an example. When and again, I'm going back to Chak De India because now that we're talking about it. When Chak De India was happening, Shah Rukh Khan had told us कि यार बेटा ये don't expect too much from this film. Because at the end of it, it's a film where the ending is known. India जीत जाती है तो लोग एक बार देखेंगे फिर दूसरी बार देखने नहीं आएंगे. And that was him preparing us for coping with failure. कि don't expect too much from it. There's a possibility it will just do average. कि लोग एक बार देखेंगे और फिर भूल जाएंगे पिक्चर को. What happened then? What happened then was that when the film released and it became a runaway success that it did, nobody prepared us for that success. No one person. Overnight, मैं बॉम्बे में चावल में रहा करती थी, छोटी सी उसमें. मेरे घर के बाहर 2 security guards थे for about 2 months odd. That's not the kind of success I had ever thought about. That's not the kind of success that I had even prepared myself with. That there'll be people who will be safeguarding me as an actor, and I'm staying in a small chawl in Bombay. मेरा घर का भाड़ा 7,000 रुपए और मेरे घर के बाहर 2 सिक्योरिटी गार्ड लगाए हैं कि मैडम एक्टर हैं और बहुत पॉपुलर हो गई हैं और उनको मतलब सिक्योरिटी चाहिए. Now you understand this how do you cope with this success? How do you learn then to this is you immediately there's a response. There's a thing whether it will go into your head or it will be what it is and you'll run with it. But it is still a very personalized path. I know of the other girls who took it so beautifully and said, so what? I'm in this house today and there are 2 security guards and people are looking at me like this, but this is me. This is what it is supposed to be for me. I know that I took it very differently and I know it went straight into my head and I did ride the tide for quite a long time and it didn't leave me. So once the security guards left my house, I was quite abandoned. I felt like, my God, I've fallen from the tree and it didn't serve me too well. I was very used to looking at myself on posters and I searched for that high and low, So I literally did ride the highs and the lows with success. And I feel everybody goes through their own journey. What I want to talk about is that coping is going to be momentary. Coping is going to be that fleeting bit. What is important is for us to realize that it's a fleeting bit. Similar with failure, similar with success. It's just the journey that will stay with you at the end. It's this memorable part that this happened to me, which is my learning and my growth. But what happened and then that time was coping. And that's all you can do. You can only cope. Unless now, like I know that because I have personalized my path, I'm walking on a path which is entirely mine. I'm not copying Shah Rukh. I'm not copying the other Chak De girls. I'm not me. I'm not even trying. I'm not trying to do what at that point was asked of me or I thought was being asked of me. It's just, I think it takes you a little like how Sanjay started the conversation. It takes you a fair amount of time to learn this. And here we are, we're trying to share this with you. I'm hoping that it's reaching, my voice is reaching to all of you to say, don't worry about it. Your stars belong to you. They have been designed for you. So know your stars, know your dynamics. Sit with yourself. That's the only thing worth it. And everything else will happen. You will be able to align on a long-term basis. If you can hear our voice, if that is reaching out to you at some point, consciously look inwards. There is no second you, and there never will be.
Trust me, Shubhi, it's not only your voice, but all your emotions and sentiments which are reaching every one of us.
I'm glad.
All right. I have with us in our group, Captain Sanjay Bodka. Okay. He's a pilot. And we always tell him that आप अक्सर आसमान में रहते हैं, लेकिन संजय आज ज़मीन पर हैं, and he's with us here as part of several learning initiatives of BMA. Sanjay, would you like to ask your question, please? Go ahead. Yes, Sanjay. Sanjay, your audio is not coming through, though you are speaking and you are unmuted, but the audio is not coming through. Would you like to check for some loose connection? Not yet, Sanjay.
Sanjay Bodka, is that what you're saying?
Correct. Sanjay is there, but
So
somehow
Sanjay's written on the chat saying, can I say to align better, it's better to anticipate, remain aware of the variables and realign ahead of time. It is, I mean, ideally in an ideal world, I think this is what we're hoping to happen, that if you can anticipate and if you can remain aware of your variables and that you can get a chance to realign ahead of time. And it does happen. It's not, I'm not saying that it never happens. I think a lot of people who are considered to be successful are working on staying ahead of this understanding and with this consciousness on an everyday basis. कि आज सुबह उठे तो मुझे लगता है कुछ बदला है. Like they are so sensitive to the variables that are around them all the time that the slightest of change will probably send them a message in their universe saying something is different. And I'd like to know what that is. Whether it's something that's coming into my world, whether it is something that is going to happen, whether I'm reading something incorrectly, it's a vibe that I'm picking up on. And I know that for most of us, it becomes just a conversation with kaisi baatein karta hai. Lekin I know of a lot of people who are very, very sensitive to the change in variables, and it can be anticipated. But like I said, for that, you need to have a practice of alignment. You need to have a skill that you have developed over time where you practice it on a daily basis, that you practice it on a moment to moment basis. That अगर यहाँ हो तो यहीं हो. फिर ये चीज़ matter करती है और जो आसपास हो रहा है वो तुमने create किया है इस moment को जीने के लिए. And when you do that, then you can understand that things around you can be realigned because this has now changed and it's not the same for me and I'm aware of that. So, which is what conscious is, right? So how do you take a leap into the future consciously, which is consciously? You be aware. You have to spend every moment consciously. I'm assuming that's your question. If there's something else, please, I'm all ears. Please do let me know. And,
unfortunately, Sanjay is speaking, but we are unable to hear him. That's the difficulty. Sanjay, would you just like to punch in your question? And in the meantime, I'll request Srinivasan, who had a question, to go ahead with his thoughts.
Sure.
Can I, sir? Can I proceed? Can I ask?
Please, yes. Srinivas, go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you. First of all, congratulations for an excellent, fantastic, spellbinding speech by you, Shubhi. All the very best. I've heard a lot about you, and it's a pleasure to directly hear you. The point I wanted to bring to your attention was, again, and will always be, in medical parlance, on absolute pure medical terminology. Now, I have an MD in pharmacology of 1961 vintage. I'm far too old for all that. These facts remain. The acute thing you are talking about in terms of coping, vis-a-vis the chronic thing that we are talking about in terms of alignment, they have similar endocrine backgrounds. And in the acute phase, you have more of noradrenaline, and in the chronic phase, you have more of cortisol. And this has I'm sure you are aware of it. Cortisol plays havoc with your system. And it goes on and on, like some of us talked. Cortisol stays with you and then can cause a lot of havoc with your sugar, cholesterol, and so forth. So while I agree with you about the manageable aspects of coping and aligning, I have a small point to add here, because endocrinologically, these two are totally different entities. Unless you go to the acute phase, you cannot go to the chronic phase. Anyway, nice hearing you.
I think you're absolutely right. And I think heroes are not doing one or the other. I think they're spending a lot more time aligning. Spending a lot more time in understanding. And Sanjay, I'll let you take this as well. And I think the coping is equally important. We Indians are known for jugaad anyway. So at the end of it, I think without coping, you cannot start aligning. If you are going through a heart attack and that's your first sign of a health issue, I will not ask you to start going through a lifestyle change. To begin with, I will have to give you an electric shock. I will have to do a palliative care for you. which is where you're coming from. Like absolute medical parlance, I will have to put you on the table, I will have to give you an electric shock, bring you back to life, which is a coping mechanism. That is something that is required immediately and urgently. And I need to do that. I need to do that in order to then further your life in a way which becomes healthier for a lifetime to spend. So both of them have to be done. They're not one to the other. The idea is, where do you spend more time? What do you do for a longer run? Do you constantly keep giving yourself an electric shock every time and live like that? Or then do you invest in yourself and spend time building your healthy lifestyle so that you don't need to go back to the electric shock again and again? Which is where the two differences are. So how then do you want to live? There are many people who are tachycardic, and I know, my husband's a doctor, I know of such patients who come to him कि सर वो rhythm ऊपर नीचे हो गया, जरा वो electric shock दे दीजिए, घर पे जाना है. And they're doing that. They live like that. And unfortunately, they may not have a long-term solution, and this is how they have to live. But everybody doesn't have to live like that. People who go through heart attacks, people who know the importance of developing a healthy lifestyle. Is everybody able to do it? No. So what do they end up doing? They end up coping. अरे कल 4 समोसे खा लिए थे, आज 2 दवाई एक्स्ट्रा ले लेंगे. That's coping. That's not understanding that वो 4 समोसे आपके लिए कितने खराब हैं. So what you're doing is you're compromising with the alignment to your health. And you want to do that knowingly. You do it knowingly. आप वो भी consciously कर रहे हो. हम आपको कह रहे हैं कि आप consciously वो करो जिससे फायदा मिलता है, जिसकी वजह से आप जीना चाहेंगे और वो जीने का नजरिया बदलना है. Because for now, समोसे are important. Your healthy lifestyle forever is not seemingly that important, which is the difference and the paradigm shift that we're hoping people will start to recognize and be conscious about. Sanjay, over to you.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add that Mr. Srinivasan, thank you very much for bringing this, and you're absolutely right. It is not either coping or alignment, because coping is natural. It's our unconscious response, and we are going to do it. But unfortunately, what happens is that we get so conditioned that we get our life to be defined by coping. Keep coping, so much so that most people spend their life without realizing that they always had a chance to actually align. And what we're trying to bring here is, bring out that option and alternative. That yes, and this is a time, when times are normal, nobody even wants to think about it. But, because everybody is facing uncertainty right now, and because everybody tends to be self-reflective, we thought it's a very good time to bring this out, that look, you have a choice to align, not just cope. So thank you actually for bringing this up, because I think it's very important.
I must thank you. And congrats once again, madam. Great talk.
Thank you. Yeah.
Sorry, we are so conditioned to peer pressure. Right from the rat race, students start running right from college. Can you suggest how we can cope up with these?
With the rat race?
With the peer pressure that comes out of the rat race.
I'm asking, my entire webinar will go down the waste if I still have to answer how to cope up with other people. My webinar and our entire endeavor here has been that please, the focus cannot be your peers, it cannot be your parents, it cannot be your friends, it can't be the sabji wala, the doodh wala, the boss, it can be nobody. What your peers are doing, they are doing. There's nothing that you can do about it. They have their own stars to align with, they have their own variables. आपको मैं एक बहुत छोटी सी बात बताती हूँ. आप जब किसी के पास एडवाइस लेने जाते हैं तो आप उसे क्या सारी बात बता देते हैं जो किया होता है आपने? नहीं बताते ना. You keep out of the 100 variables that have happened, for example, if you manage to get into an accident, कि आपसे किसी की गाड़ी का डैमेज हो गया है रास्ते में, राइट? और अब आप किसी को ये बता रहे हैं बात, तो आप उसमें या तो 2 वेरिएबल्स ऐड करेंगे कि वो गलत तरफ से आया, कि उसने नहीं देखा, या मैंने तो हॉर्न बजाया था, या मैं तो बहुत पहले रुक गया था और वो गलती से आया. So either you are adding variables to your story when you tell somebody else, or you will delete some part of the variables when you're telling the story कि नहीं ऐसा तो हुआ ही नहीं, वही आया था, मैं तो था ही नहीं वहाँ पे, कोई और चला रहा था गाड़ी, and you'll do all of that. When you do this, and you're asking for advice कि मैं करूँ क्या, आप सिर्फ ये जानना चाहते हैं कि आप कितने गलत और कितने सही थे. And this, I'm just giving an example about how variables happen. So maybe you can relate this with peer pressure and how do you handle peers. When you yourself, as a person going to take advice from somebody else, do not inform of the 100% variables, how are you so sure that आपके पास आपके peers जो कर रहे हैं उसका 100% variable है? How do you know that everything that they're doing is available for you as information? Are they working late into the night? Are they not working late into the night and they have a lot of money from their father? What all do they have? What all are they going through as challenges? वो कहाँ गलत हो रहे हैं, कहाँ सही हो रहे हैं, आपको उसके बारे में कुछ आइडिया ही नहीं है, और फिर भी घुसना वही है, तो फिर उसके बारे में तो कुछ कोई कर ही नहीं सकता. फिर आप चाहते हैं कि हम उनके साथ कैसे कोप करें. अरे वो मतलब उनके सितारे, I mean there's a possibility in the next 6 months you won't even get to see the peers. Your peers will change. What do you do then? You cope up with the other next set of peers that you will get. आज peers college वाले हैं, कल peers job वाले होंगे, फिर कल other peers होंगे, promotion वाले होंगे, फिर मतलब कहीं. How many peers will you change your life story with? And then what about you? What are your stars? Your stars are just sitting there waiting for you to start working on them. वो कह रहे हैं हम तो खाली आए थे. फिर so my webinar will go into a waste if you stop, if you ask me questions like हम दूसरों के बारे में क्या करें. Please, my idea is if there is a torch in your hand, or if there's a torch that you can access, turn it around and focus it on yourself. बाकी सारा अंधेरा दूर हो जाएगा, अपने ऊपर देख लो बस. That's about it.
So in Zoom language, as they say, have the spotlight on yourself.
Totally have the spotlight. I mean, come on, be the leading lady and the leading man of your own life. For God's sake, why do you have to be a support cast? अपनी जिंदगी में तो हीरो बनो. You know, why are you in somebody else's film in the first place? I don't know. You have a whole chance to write your own movie, and here you are, no, I want to be, मतलब उसका भाई, उसकी बहन और उसका पति और उसकी बीवी. मेरा रोल उतना ही है कि मैं आऊंगा, 2 डायलॉग बोलूंगा और निकल जाऊंगा. मुझे ये बता दो वो डायलॉग कैसे बोलना है, वो भी कोई और बताएगा. So I've always found this very relevant, that I think you have one life and you have to have the responsibility and the accountability to be the leading person in your own life. And if you can't do that as a favor to yourself, then any amount of management and any amount of behavioral science will fail us. It's a disservice that you're doing to humanity. People have worked very hard to bring you to this level of intelligence, of this evolution. And instead of furthering that evolution into for yourself and for other people who are following you, you want to still work on कि बाहर जो दूसरे लोग काम कर रहे हैं उसको देखते हैं, वो ज़्यादा interesting है, which I think is a disservice.
All right, I have with me a colleague from my executive committee, Rishi Jagmohan, who incidentally is himself an expert in learning and development and leads all the initiatives of learning and development with Vocart. Rishi, over to you for your observation and your question.
Hi, Rishi.
Hi. Excellent thoughts. I'm really excited to learn about more things about you, connect with you offline, of course. Great thoughts. I just wanted to understand that, you know, these days, I think it can be repetition also for you, but you know, because of COVID, there's a lot of negativity going around here. But in spite of that, there are opportunities. So I think if we look towards the opportunities which are coming towards us, it all is a mindset issue, I suppose. What have you to say on this?
Yes, it is. It's a mindset issue. And I'm not of the opinion that we should throw away our negativity. I think it's rooted in us being humans. I think it's a part of our necessity in terms of evolution. Only and only if we understand adversity can we understand how to overcome a challenge. Till the time we don't understand, like I said, you know, we can't hide from the negativity that this pandemic has brought. It's changed us. And it's given us an opportunity for sure. What is a boon will always be a curse, and what is a curse will always be a boon. There's the two sides of the same coin. It's a matter of saying कि मुझे boon ही देखना है या मुझे curse ही देखना है. वो तो होगा नहीं. कभी तो heads आएगा, कभी तो tails आएगा ही. And yes, it depends on how long do you want to focus on that negativity. 1 महीना, 2 महीना, 2 साल, 3 साल. Give yourself that time and see how you want to work on this. Because at the end of it, my focus is still to say every single person will respond and will align when their time is right for them. I truly believe that each one of you sitting here is doing the best you can at this moment also. Currently, आप जितना अच्छा कर सकते हैं अपने लिए वो आप कर रहे हैं अभी भी. You forget that you're doing the best you can even now. Your intentions are good, you are creative, you are able, you are wise, currently also. But you will forget about that. And it's fine to sometimes put it in the back and say, yeah, theek hai, main hu ye sab kuch. I'm really just doing the best I can. And if you give that credit to every single other person in this globe, imagine the kind of positivity that you can bring even while facing this negative impact of the pandemic. Look at it. Every single person is responding with the best to what they can at that time. कोई आपसे बेहतर कर रहा है, कोई आपसे कम कर रहा है, लेकिन वो कंपैरिजन क्यों है? वो अपनी जगह ठीक कर रहा है, आप अपनी जगह ठीक कर रहे हो, लेकिन अपनी जगह तो आप सबसे अच्छा ही कर रहे हो.
Thank you very much. I like to ask a follow-up question in this.
Sure.
What is the role of coaching in these days and times?
This is coaching, to believe that everyone is doing the best that they can and understand that यहाँ कोई ऐसा एक इंसान नहीं है जिसका intention गलत है, जो capable नहीं है, जो wise नहीं है. मेरे हिसाब से आप सब अपनी problems को झेलने के लिए, अपने challenges को overcome करने के लिए आप में इतनी intelligence है, इतनी creativity है, इतनी अकल है, समझ-बूझ है, everything that you need to live your life as the leading person of your life has been given to you by the universe and sent here. You don't want to see it right now for this various other dimensions and dynamics that have covered it is a different thing altogether. But do you have all the masala? Yes, you do. And the coach has no reason to not believe that. I'm sitting here believing and telling you that all of you have the potential to become whatever you want to become. What do you want to become is up to you. Like my father used to tell me when I was a child and I was failing 11th standard, beta, jamadar ban jana, lekin acha banna. कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, नहीं अच्छा बनना, कूड़ा उठा लेना, लेकिन अच्छी तरह से कूड़ा उठाना. And trust me, I'm a very good housekeeper. Even till date, there is my room will be spick and span. It will not have a spot.
Right, be the best in whatever you do is the very strong message coming across, and we appreciate what you're saying. As they often say that all good things come to a pause at some point in time.
Thank you.
I refuse to believe that they come to an end, because I think learning is a permanent journey and all of us are in this journey together. Thank you, Shubhi, for that very passionate sharing. And many of us who are here, I'm happy to share with you that we have planned a workshop next week again with Conscious Sleep, which is a focused workshop where you need to register and participate to go through this entire learning journey in a workshop format. What you saw today was just the trailer of the film, Picture Abhi Bhi Baki Hai, and for that, you can get more details on the website as we progress. Thank you, Sanjay, for facilitating this entire learning journey for us. And I'm going to request on all our behalf, before we go for our traditional group photograph, my colleague on the executive committee, Arun Chitlangia, to do a wrap up of this session and also propose a vote of thanks on behalf of all of us.
Actually, Professor Mani, I'm sorry, but can I take your leave? I'm actually 40 minutes away from an emergency room.
Right.
My child is a little unwell today. I'll have to take your leave.
We just
I will see you at the workshop. Yes?
Done.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate your presence.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Yeah. Arun, continue.
Yes. So, my dear friends, what a session. What a session. When Surabhi talked about samosa, I was thinking that it's my story because that's what happens with me. And if I look back, the content she presented was so convincing, and she could do that because it is her conviction that made the entire session so appealing for all of us. Absolutely great clarity of thoughts and a lot of practical day-to-day solution. It resonates with our life. And that's what I think all of us liked it, and all of us were completely glued to the session. If you look at the screen presence, very pleasant screen presence, a wonderful, powerful voice with a great flow, a lot of examples, especially in the question answer session, which is what I really liked. And I liked most was what was talked about before is energy, huge energy. And that's what made this session so special. So and I think one more thing is the language. Language is so simple. I mean, mix of bit of Hindi and English and conversational, which we can relate to, and it really made the day. Wonderful. So coping to alignment, मेरे दिमाग में तो पूरा भर के घुस गया एकदम अंदर तक, right? Coping नहीं करना है, alignment करना है. Coping नहीं करना है, alignment करना है. That is the power. That is the penetration that has gone into it. And for that, all the arguments she presented, it's wonderful. So I'm sure that the way I enjoyed, all of you enjoyed, all of you learned. And so thank you very much in absentia. I would like to thank Surabhi Mehta. I would like to thank everyone who is instrumental to bring her here. And most important, friends, all of you, because it is your presence that gives us energy, that motivates us to do more and more and to bring more such wonderful, talented speakers to you for the next session. So thank you. And thank you, Professor Mani, for this opportunity to me and for arranging everything for all of us. Thank you.
Thanks, Arun. And may I request all of you to please put on your videos so that we can capture this moment that we spent together this evening, learning about how you can use the power of aligning versus coping. And more of it, as I said, is possible in a workshop if you wish to attend next week. May I also share with you, while we get ready for the group photograph, our next Wednesday webinar is on another very interesting topic: how to build trust by inculcating the right set of values. And this is going to be presented by Farhad Forbes, who is the Joint Managing Director of Forbes Marshall. And you can imagine the stature of the person who has done wonderful work even during COVID times in their community. Please look forward to this session on the coming Wednesday as part of our Wednesday Wisdom webinars. Lakshmi, we are all ready for the group photograph and we look forward to capture this moment together. Right now we have 3 screens, so please be a little patient and ensure that we can capture your presence. It's like marking attendance in school and college, as they rightly said. Thank you again, everybody, and special thanks to my colleagues and our past presidents, Indrapalji, Kondapji, who are usually with us as part of this learning journey to encourage us and motivate us. Thank you again, Sanjay, for facilitating this through Conscious Leap. Looking forward to meet all of you in time to come. Stay safe and stay blessed.